Hi there. So this today we will be talking about animals including humans. Have you ever wondered, you probably would have heard that humans are actually also animals. And you probably will be like, how? How exactly is that possible? Well, you have to stay tuned because in this lesson we will talk about all of that. So let's dive in. So today we would be learning about the different groups of animals, how humans are animals too. We'll also be learning about our body parts and senses. And we will be talking about why food, water, and exercise are important. So stay tuned till the end of the video. The first thing will be what actually is an animal? I'm sure right in school you would have heard about Mrs. Green. Movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. So you would have heard about Mrs. Green, how that Mrs. Green is the characteristics of every living thing. Well, you know what? Animals are also living things. We say they are living things that grow, eat, move, and reproduce. Humans are also animals because humans also do all these things. But humans are not exactly animals. We call them higher animals. And why is that? Because of our intellect. We can think, we can build things, and we can do other awesome things that animals may not be able to do. And that's why we are higher animals, according to science. So we have several classes of animals. We have mammals, we have birds, we have reptiles, amphibians, fish, and insects. Now, what are mammals? Mammals are animals like dogs, lion, and basically, mammals are those kind of animals that give birth to their young ones alive. For example, if you have a pet dog or a pet cat and it gives birth, you find out that it gives birth to its young one alive. And also, humans also give birth to their younger ones alive, and your younger ones way look like them. So let's explore and see the things that we need to know about mammals. So firstly is that mammals have fur on their bodies. They could be fur, it could be hair, but they have it on their bodies. And they also feed their babies with milk. I believe when you were much younger, your mom actually fed you with milk. And they are warm-blooded, and we also talked about the examples earlier. They include cats, dogs, and humans. Now, if you see um, from this picture, you would see different kind of animals. I can see a lion, I can see an eagle, I can see a bird, I can see a cheetah, and all other animals that we have there. So we say mammals have what? They have hair on their bodies, they feed your babies with milk. They are warm blooded. So, what do these things mean? Let's further go deeper to understand these things. So, when we say mammals have fur, that means they have hair on their bodies. For example, if you look at a picture, you can see a bear, I can see a wolf, and you can also see lion. Now, what can you say about these three animals? Something you can say about all three of them is that they all have hair on their bodies. For instance, if you look at the bear is in like a winter. This is snow all around, so it won't really feel cold because of the fur it has around it. And the same goes for the wolf and also the lion. I mean, look at this. It's a beautiful picture of a lion and its baby. So it works like that. So for mammals, we say mammals have furs. An example of mammals, the bears, the wolves, the tigers, the lions. And from these furs, that's how we're able to make some very thick clothing. For instance, if you're familiar with a fur coat, like that's how we get the fur coats from the furs of animals. So what else again do mammals have? Let's look at it. So mammals also feed your babies with milk. Now you can see this picture. This is a picture of a chimpanzee and a mother chimp and a baby chimp, and he is feeding from the baby chimp. And this just tells us that mammals also feed their babies with milk. Just like when you probably also were younger, and when a mother gives birth to a child, the doctors usually says that the mother has to breastfeed the baby. And that's really what's happening here. So as it happens with humans, it also happens with some animals, the mammals. And we also said they are warm-blooded. So warm-blooded will mean that they can regulate their own temperature. Mammals could regulate their own temperature. So it means that whenever it's cold, your insides don't really get cold. The inside of your body is still warm, and that's because we are warm-blooded. The same goes with mammals. Now, unlike other kind of animals, they'll usually rely on the sun to get warm in the cold weather, and they will usually rely on the weather of the surrounding environments to get either warm or cold. But for mammals, they don't really need that because they're warm-blooded. So the body would eventually regulate its own temperature. Now we have to look at what exactly do animals need to survive. Just like the same way every living thing has to grow, reproduce, move around, living things also have to survive. And there are basic things that every living thing, animals inclusive, needs to survive. The very first is they need food. The second is they need water, they need air, they need shelter. You need food because you have to grow. And the way to grow is to eat something. You have to eat something to grow. You have to drink water so that you are not dehydrated. And you also need fresh air so you don't suffocate. And definitely, you need shelter so you can always keep yourself warm and healthy always. So the same thing goes for humans as well as animals. They also need food, water, air, and shelter. That's why sometimes maybe if you go into the woods, you could find a bird nest or you could find the cave of maybe fox. You shouldn't find a cave of foxes though. You find a place. You could see a structure where then you're able to tell that a particular kind of animal probably stays here or lives here. And why is that? Because animals need food, water, air, and shelter. So we're going to talk about all these things in more details. Why do animals need food? Why do animals need food? Food provides energy for us. Food helps us grow, and food also keeps us healthy. Something that you shouldn't miss every day is your breakfast before you go to school, because it's very important for you to take your food, your breakfast, all your meals every day, because that's how you're going to get energy. That's how you're going to continue to grow. And that's how you are going to stay healthy, true, and true. So, more details that we need to know about food is that we have different food groups. We have the carbohydrates, we have the proteins, we have the fats, we have the vitamins and minerals, we have water, and we also have fibers. So all these groups of food are necessary for every human to take in as because they would help us grow because different food group have the different function that they carry out in our bodies. For example, with the carbohydrate are types of nutrients that gives us energy. Examples are rice, bread, pasta. Now, when we talk about the carbohydrates, these are foods that helps to ensure that you are strong and healthy. They really give you energy, and you don't want this kind of foods to be lacking in your meals because it's not good when they're lacking, because one will look like it doesn't have enough strength to do things, and that's really why you need carbohydrates. But as much as you need carbohydrates, um what else do they do for us? So carbohydrates, they helps us to stay active, they keep us from feeling tired, and they are good for our muscles and brains. So the more we take in carbs, the more it helps us to stay active throughout the day. Maybe you have to go to school, you're able to learn very well in school. You're able to participate in activities in school because you took the proper kind of meal. So when we say carbs, carbs actually is like a short form for carbohydrate. So sometimes you could say carbohydrate, other times you could say carbs. So when you hear your friends say carbs, it actually means carbohydrate. So that's why we say why we need carbs. So also they keep us from feeling tired because they provide energy for us. So whenever the energy is lacking, it means that we're low on carbs and you have to get some carbs. You have to eat some rice, you have to take some bread, and all of that. And again, they are good for our muscles and brains. You want to think well in school and you want to be able to do some of your chores and your assignments all by yourself without any external help. And that's really why you need carbs. You need to take in carbs so that you could think well and so you could build your body well. You need to take in carbs so that you don't feel tired, you don't feel weak, you don't feel like you are uneasy and able to do things. When you take in carbs, you feel healthy. When you take in carbs, you build your muscles. When you take in carbs, you also stay active, active to school, active to do your chores at home, active to even study your materials in school. Now, I know we've been talking about taking carbs, but now there is a caution to it because we have healthy carbs and unhealthy carbs. What are unhealthy carbs? Unhealthy carbs are the carbs that they will do a lot of damage than good to you. And many times they're categorized as so much sugar. I know you probably have had some times where your mom or your dad would have said, you know, Junior, you don't have to take so much sugar, you know, no sugar today. And it's because you need sugar, but you don't need so much of it. Because if you have so much of it in your body, it could really cause some damage than good. So that's why we have healthy carbs and unhealthy carbs. Many times, your unhealthy carbs will come so much in junk food, your donuts, your cakes, and all of that. Not that they're wrong, they're not wrong or bad, but they become bad when you take it so much. You shouldn't take it so much. Once in a while, it's okay, maybe for a snack, but it shouldn't be your daily meals. It's going to create a lot of problems later on in the future. But you should take healthy carbs like pasta. You could see your different kinds right on the picture here. You have bread, you have rice, and eventually we'll get to see how you can actually mix up all these kind of diets to get the right kind of diets. So we have unhealthy carbs and we have healthy carbs. The healthy carbs are the ones that you should take. The unhealthy carbs are the ones that you shouldn't take. Don't forget, we are talking about carbohydrates. We say carbohydrates are the type of nutrients. They give us energy. We have examples of them: rice, bread, pasta. And we say we need them to keep us active. We need them to keep us from feeling tired. We need them to we need them because they're good for our muscles and brains. And we also said we have unhealthy carbs and we have healthy carbs. Healthy carbs are the ones that helps us to build our bodies really well. While unhealthy carbs just end up becoming so much sugar inside our bodies. And when you have too much sugar inside your body, it creates health problems later in the future. But we don't want that to happen. So we will stay with healthy carbs. So I will see you on the next video. Thank you.